The Cool Fab British Mini Bikes Championship is at Red Lodge in Suffolk for round 2. The weather is pretty miserable, but that usually means plenty of action. And with Roger Keys from the Cool FAB-Racing organisation. Now, Roger, Cool Milk got involved at the back end of last year. You did the deal in the off-season. Tell us about how that's changed things. We've obviously seen massive changes really at round 1 at Llandau. How's it changed from your point of view?
Totally changed. Unbelievable. They've just taken over the background, which we never had time to really do. They've brought in lots of top riders. They've brought in the hospitality, the event centre. It's unbelievable, and it's going to be really great for the kids, because not only will they help us, they're going to help the kids, because they're going to see how high profile this is, all the teams. And for example, Max Cook has already been picked up by being here. They've seen him, they've realised how good he is, and he's got to deal with Cool Milk themselves. But it's not just Cool Milk. We're going to get other sponsors come in, because they'll see what's going on, they'll want to help kids, and it's going to raise the profile totally of the whole of the rounds and championship. And we look forward to continuing them on this long-term agreement that we've got. It's going to be good for them, good for us, and particularly good for the kids.
So let's get cracking. Round 2, and it's the AC40 rookie class who's up first. Ben Smith and Cameron Sewell on the front row with Alexander Merchant and Mason Foster. Tilly and Garnus, Woodcock and Gritton, Phillips, Stuart Campbell in 10th position, and then Kirsch, Hopkins and Josh Kirsch right at the very back. It's going to be an interesting run off the grid. Away we go, and that is a good start right from the front. Clean getaway this time, and the conditions at least better than at Llandau, first round of the championship, but already, Alan, very tricky still.
Very tricky, because it is, you can't tell from these pictures, there's a bit of moisture in the air. You can see that the track is drying in parts, but it is still quite moist, a little bit of drizzle in the air, so you can see some of them in the mid-pack here tiptoeing round, but these guys at the front, these are the fast boys. It was Ben Smith here, who was quick last time, but if you remember, didn't seem to make the grid for the TV race last time, and then joined the race as it went on. It was Cameron Sewell that dominated that day. He's not dominating at the moment, though.
No, indeed. We predicted that, didn't we, last time out? We did say Cameron Sewell wouldn't have it all his own way, and he's got challenged not only from Ben Smith, but from Alexander Merchant as well. He was the championship leader on points after the first round, thanks to his brilliant consistency. He's got a real opportunity here at Red Lodge to pull out a bit of a gap if he can get one over on these two this weekend at Red Lodge. And I have to say, this second round of the championship, these three are so closely matched.
They are. Cameron Sewell dominated. I say he dominated last time. He didn't.
Oh, that's Merchant! That's Merchant! On the first lap,
stopped.
the championship leader, Alexander Merchant, has got a mechanical failure going into the last corner on the first lap, and Jack Kirsch has stopped out on the circuit as well. Well, that really has thrown a bit of a curveball into this championship fight, because Ben Smith now has an opportunity to pull away here, but he's going to have a little bit of action around him. Yes, look, we got two bikes off to the side. We might have just seen it in the previous shot. Alexander Merchant pulled off the circuit. I wonder if we're going to see it as Ben Smith and Cameron Sewell come around this time, but that is a major championship cliffhanger.
Now, the dynamic going on here, Cameron Sewell dominated last time, we said, but he didn't lead the championship, and that's because he won the two races, the televised race and then the first race on the Sunday. In the third race on the Sunday, Cameron here on the blue bike was leading by a mile. We weren't there televising that. He was leading by a mile, but crashed and didn't finish. And if you DNF in this championship, you don't score any points. Now, you can see Alexander Merchant's disappeared. He's actually got the bike going again. We've got Johnny Garness off as well. Yep. He stopped on the back straight. The dynamic going on here is that Alexander Merchant, had he not got the bike going again, wouldn't have scored any points as the championship leader in this race. But if he's got it going again, he has. There you go. There's the graphic. He will score points, so it keeps his championship points ticking over. Cameron Sewell lost 25 points, for example, leading by a mile in that third race at Llandau, crashed, couldn't get it going again, and dropped 25 points. He came out of the round with 50. Alexander Merchant scored 56. So Cameron Saul ended up in third place because Ben Smith was second. Looks like Ben Smith will be taking the championship lead.
Yeah.
That's Taylor Stewart Campbell's information.
Well, third position now is Mason Foster. We just saw him out the back of this little battle. He's there in third position quite solidly over the first couple of laps. He's running very well. Not only has Alexander Merchant got his bike going again, but so too has Johnny Garnis. We saw him stop out on the back straight. He's got going again. So critical to get your bike back on the circuit if you can and actually get some points out of this, because you never know when your closest rival in the championship is going to DNF. And we can actually see the battle for victory here is tightening up as Cameron Sewell has had a cracking lap last time around. Ben Smith is actually going to have a real fight in his hands. That's Jamie Woodcock on the 17. He's there, the 10-year-old from Northwich. He's actually part of the Scott Redding Academy. And Scott Redding, of course, a name not only synonymous with the world of motorcycling, but with the cool FAB-Racing paddock as well. He started here, don't forget. And, well, from small acorns, incredible oaks grow. You can see what he does on the MotoGP circuit, and it all began here.
Yeah, had a good round recently at MotoGP, didn't he, Scott? And he is responsible, not single-handedly, because he gets a lot of help from other guys as well, but his academy responsible for a lot of these young riders coming into the sport and going there and learning how to ride and getting better and better.
Well, one of the great things I love about this particular paddock, the Cool Milk paddock, this is akin to, you could almost compare the mini bike world to the karting world, to say these are the young guns coming through as we go into the last lap. But this is a different world. In karting, it's all about who's got the biggest budget. Here,
exactly.
It's about who's got the best talent. It really does come down to who can put it together over the course of one weekend. And knitting his way through the traffic perfectly there, Ben Smith deals with a back marker. That could have cost him victory, but he read the situation beautifully, and Cameron Sewell has got held up.
Yeah,
that has
bolt.
bought Ben Smith the victory here in fantastic style. He read that situation exactly as he needed to, and that's what we're talking about. It doesn't matter how much money you've got in this arena. What counts is what you do when you've got those pegs in between your fists. It is an absolutely brilliant ride, this, from Ben Smith. He's actually taking it easy round the outside of the back markers. He's got a tiny bit of breathing space as they go into the final left, right, left, and it's going to be a victory for Ben Smith as he takes it round the outside of the 96 of Jack Kirsch onto the grass. Oh my word, he's pushing it, and that could have cost him dear. He was lucky there that Cameron Sewell was getting caught up himself, but it's going to be Ben Smith into the final chicane through the right. Not too much on the left there, Ben. Absolutely beautiful. He coasts home, and the AC40 Rookies race goes to Ben Smith in front of Cameron Sewell. What a brilliant ride that is from Ben. Cameron Sewell in second. Mason Foster is going to come home for third position, a full 21 seconds adrift. Charlie Tilley in a good fourth position in front of Orlando Phillips in P5. Woodcock in sixth from Stuart Campbell, Gritton Garnis and Luca Hopkins. What a fantastic race, though, from Ben Smith, and a great little celebration there from the number 30.
A miserable start to the weekend for the championship leader Alexander Merchant in race one, but he recovered to take 2 wins. It's Ben Smith that leads the championship going to round 3, but it's close. The next race up is Mini GP50. Before we get underway, an interview with one of the riders who's well down the grid in this one, but at Llandau last time he came from 7th in a televised race to lead it before crashing. He's made the change from 4 wheels to 2. I spoke to him earlier. Hey, now I know you from karting, but you've moved to the black art of 2-wheel racing. How did that come about?
Well, I've been watching my dad's baking, and I thought, oh, that's good. And we used to watch them. So I asked him if we can have a go of one, and he said yeah. So I had to go, and I just got into it.
And at Llandau, of course, you came from 7th early on in the race to lead the race. Now I know you crashed in the hook, unfortunately, but that must have given you a lot of confidence moving forward, surely.
Yeah, because of crash, I knew not to gas it on too much in the corners. So hopefully if it goes wet, I know what to do now.
And it looks like it's going to be wet for the race today. How's it been going so far here at Red Lodge?
It's going good. I prefer the wet than the dry.
Okay, well, good luck today.
Thank you.
Well, the switch from 4 wheels to 2 hasn't been going too badly. He's right there in the mix, just outside the top 10 off the grid. It's Harvey Claridge and Callum Beach on the front row, with Cameron Hall and Scott Ogden on the second. Pinson, Knight, Crockford and Hopper are just in behind, with Rainford alongside Luke Coggins, Vince Smart, Holly Harrison, Saffron Watley completing the field. Away we go, and it's a cracking start from Harvey Claridge. Great start too from Cameron Hall, who looks as though he might just get an opportunity to move up into second position, although I think Callum Beach may have just held him off.
Scott Ogden, I think, has just held him off. Scott Ogden, it is in second. There is on the 19. Cameron looking up the inside. Looks like he may take that position, though. Harvey Claridge, a comfortable winner last time, as Hall comes through to second. Looks like Ogden under pressure now from Callum Beach. So it is Harvey Claridge. Look, he's clearing off already, Jake, and Ogden nearly loses it.
That is absolutely astonishing. We ride on board with Oscar Pinson as he chases down, I think that's got to be Callum Beach, hasn't it, in fourth position. So now they make their way to the final chicane. Claridge is disappearing. He's found another gear and is off into the stratosphere. Meanwhile, it looks as though Cameron Hall is going to have some severe difficulties with Scott Ogden as they head into the left-hander. Not too careful here. They've got to be a little bit aggressive on the exit, but they've also got to balance the fact that it's still very tricky out there. Cameron Hall, the 12-year-old from Barnsley, holding on to second position. Don't forget, he was the GP50 winner at Rowra last year, so he knows exactly what it is to win from the front, and he's going to have to work hard to keep up with Claridge. Back on board with Pinson, still Callum Beach up in front of us, the 10-year-old. Don't forget, he was the Minimoto Junior World Champion 2 years ago, so stepping up to GP50, he's actually taken to it very well as Callum Beach, and he's proven to be a very strong talent for the future. This top 5 disappearing, but Pinson might get an opportunity. Beach is going to hold him off into turn 1, through turn 2. It's not really an overtaking manoeuvre, but if you're tentative, you can set things up very nicely for the fourth turn. Down the straight, braking nicely for the left. Not too much curb taken by these guys in these conditions. They might be a little bit more aggressive in the drive, but they've got to be so tentative in the early stages. But you can see it's all starting to tense up here from second to fifth. It's tightening up again, Alan.
Yep, down the straight here into the right-hander. That brings us into the final turn.
Oh.
Just a little bit of a kink there. Left-hander now, final turn, and that's a lap of the track here at Red Lodge. Fantastic little track on board there with Oscar Pinson. Claridge fastest lap, 0.160 faster than anybody else on the track. There's the 71 going through the picture. He's obviously suffered from the interview curse, Jake.
Absolutely. It's always the way, isn't it? The one who gets interviewed by the television. Oh, and down. Who is that? That looks to me like the
Holly
15.
Harris.
That is Holly Harris, the 10-year-old from Chippenham. That's a very easy mistake to make into the final turn. Just a lack of grip there, and the bike decided, I'm not going to play ball with you this time. But let's be fair to her, she's still improving very well. As further back in the grid, we've got Luke Coggins and Finn Smart battling it out. Later into the race, that's Callum Beach in front of Cameron Hall, but not for long. Look at that, down the inside, using the back marker as a beautiful pincer movement. And up into second position, that was Saffron Watley. What on earth must it have been like on that bike for her as she watched two bikes go, one to the left, one to the right, battling for position.
Cracking example by Cameron Hall of how to use the traffic to your advantage. That was for third place, and he's in third place now using the back marker, but Beach sweeps round the outside back into third. It was Harvey Claridge though by the end that took a comfortable win from Scott Ogden, and Beach coming through for third with Cameron Hall there having to settle for fourth place in the end, and Oscar Pinson on the 84, our onboard cameraman, was fifth.
Well, fantastic move from Callum Beach, but of course, as usual, that only tells you 1/3 of the story. After that victory from Harvey Claridge, he went on to get two more ahead of Scott Ogden on both occasions, with Casey O'Gorman picking up a couple of podiums, and that means that Claridge now has a 33-point advantage over Ogden, with Beach, Hall and Hopper chasing him down. More action after the break.